Democratic Republic of the Congo is probably the only country in the world that's gone backwards in the last 50 years. Ravaged by war, exploited by the West, with endemic corruption throughout, it's a land of extreme contrasts. On the one hand, the people are an absolute inspiration. On the other hand, there are more than a few raving lunatics intent on fleecing you for every penny you got. Hello, my name is Phil Harwood, and this film is about my 5-month solo attempt to canoe the Congo River in Central Africa from source to sea. As far as I know, it's never been done before. And considering it turned me into a raving madman, I can see why. After spending a small fortune flying out my canoe, the first stop was Zambia, in search of the source. It rises in the highlands of northeastern Zambia, at an elevation of 5,760 feet, in between lakes Tanganyika and Nyasa. But just getting there with a 15-foot plastic canoe in tow was a bit of a mission in itself. Hey. This water here, as small as it may seem, is hugely significant for me because this is the source of the mighty River Congo. Known locally as the river that swallows all rivers, the true source of the Congo rises in the highlands of northeastern Zambia. It then flows through savanna, swamp and dense tropical rainforest and crossing the equator twice before finally reaching the Atlantic Ocean. For me, there's something very special about canoeing wilderness rivers. Everything else in your life pales into insignificance, and all that really matters is finding food, lighting your fire, finding a good camp spot, and not drowning. In this part of Zambia, the Bemba tribe were the indigenous people. And one of the best parts of the day for me was in the early morning mist, just after dawn, meeting the fishermen checking their nets. I was told there's quite a few crocs around here, and for the last few days I've not seen any apart from one in a tree. Not actually up in a tree, but in a tree that had fallen down, and it was just sort of belly up. But I thought, what's all the fuss about? And then next minute, two must have been 12-foot crocs launched themselves off a 6-foot bank quite close to the boat and swam right under my boat, and I was like this, you know, with the waves. And since then I've been The word Bangwulu means where the water meets the sky, and at over 15,000 square kilometres you can see why this is one of the world's greatest wetland systems. But all I cared about was successfully navigating my way through the middle of it without getting lost or being eaten by a crocodile. One of the hardest parts of the whole trip for me was not having a bloody clue what was around the next corner. And as mentally exhausting as this was, at times it was true exploration, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. Not having a waterproof camera meant I could only really film myself on the easier rapids. As one capsize and that'll be it, mate. Film over. But I still occasionally screw up and make a mistake, praying that I didn't go in, as I found myself being spun around like a cork by the powerful boils. At 70 miles long and 30 miles wide, Lake Moera was a relative inland sea, and because of the wind, every day I'd be up at 4 in the morning and blown ashore exhausted by midday. Eventually I reached the northwest corner of the lake and the border town of Puerto in the Congo, which less than a year earlier had been held by the bloodthirsty militia group, the Mai Mai rebels. Pretty much about everybody I've met so far have said you can't go down the Luva River because it's full of waterfalls and rapids and big whirlpools that suck you down. And apparently there was 4 white guys that tried it in kayaks at some point from a reliable source in town, and they ignored all local advice. And guess what happened to them? They all died. The day before I was due to leave Puerto, I was approached by this leathery-faced, banana-fingered South African bush pilot, and he told me that I'd be killed if I went down the Luva River, and it wouldn't be a quick death. And apparently, a year earlier, 2 Belgian missionaries had been captured, had their testicles cut off and eaten before having their heads chopped off and put on spikes outside the village. As it turned out, my head and genitalia remained intact, but this area was truly a wilderness. The way ahead here was to trust your gut instinct, learn the language, and always seek local knowledge. At Caballo, I reckon the drums spoke of my arrival, because after being forced ashore at gunpoint, I spent the next 8 hours being interrogated, intimidated, and finally thrown into a jail full of prostitutes. Which could have been worse.
Kumbula kwakukhona intombi enthandayo igama layo mnanziwe emadoda nje laluhlu uthando wema ngikhumbula mina kulezo nsuku zenjabulo kwakukhona intombi enthandayo igama layo mnanziwe emadoda laluhlu uthando wema uma isikhangela kulezo nsuku mama cha asimuntu walalo abantu mama sebengenza isiphupho ubuya nanziwe ukuze ulethi awu mama isikhangela kulezo nsuku mama cha asimuntu walalo abantu mama sebengenza isiphupho ubuya nanziwe ukuze ulethi inhlonipho ekhaya ubuya nanziwe uyathemba la mama ulethi inhlonipho ubuya mntwana omuhle sikhumbule lezo nsuku ezadlula ubuya nanziwe mama uyathemba la mama ulethi inhlonipho ubuya ekhaya ubuya mntwana omuhle sikhumbule lezo nsuku ezadlula.
Probably the scariest time of the whole trip was when I found myself being chased by 8 angry tribesmen in 2 dugout canoes, screaming for money. The word for white man in Swahili is Mazungu, and it was now being screamed along both banks. Mazungu! Mazungu! I felt like a wolf that had strolled into a farming community and needed hunting down. In the end, they caught me up, and I morphed into a raging madman, grabbed my machete, stood up and waved it around like a lunatic, screaming at the top of my voice. Luckily, their jaws dropped and they backed off. Hey, I've finally found a creature that's a bit uglier than I am, and here he is, and his name's Fred. Hey up, just paddled what I could of Stanley Falls, one little portage, little short bit, and then bosh into the whirlpools. If it wasn't for people giving me a hard time for money every microsecond, the Congo would be quite a cool place, but it's very tiring because it's just incessant, it never ends, it never goes away, they never stop asking. With 1,000 miles of flat water until Kinshasa, I decided to hire the services of Janvier to help me paddle. He was a village priest, spoke 4 languages and didn't take any crap off of anybody. Which is just as well, because now an almost daily occurrence would be for Janvier to get in heated arguments with local passers-by. And apparently they were asking him why he hadn't slit my throat yet at night. And if he didn't want to do it, to tell them where we were camping, and they'd come and do it for him, and they'd share the money. At one point this even came from an old woman. In between the towns of Lisala and Bandanka was an area known locally as the abattoir, and in the old days it was famous for its cannibalism, but now it was just sort of generally dangerous and a haven for the criminal element. Hey up, so we've just stopped at a small village, and as luck would have it, it's the perfect scenario. There's the father here and his 4 sons, and his 4 sons are gonna paddle with us down to Bandanka. So, you know, with 4 brothers, you can't go wrong really. So, after 2,900 miles, I'm finally here at the Atlantic Ocean, and thank Christ for that.
Tutakwenda kwetu mbinguni.